Before he was the king of pop, before the world knew his name, Michael Jackson was just a little boy in Gary, Indiana. His voice was extraordinary, his presence magnetic, but his childhood was unlike any other. This is the untold story of Michael Jackson's earliest years, the years that shaped both his genius and his deepest scars. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, the seventh of 9 children in the Jackson family. Their home in Gary, Indiana was small, cramped, and filled with constant noise, laughter, arguments, and the sound of music echoing through the walls. In that tiny house, 9 children shared not only bedrooms, but also dreams that stretched far beyond their neighborhood. Life in Gary was not easy. It was a steel town, gray and harsh, where most families struggled to make ends meet. Michael's father, Joseph, worked long hours in the mills, but carried his own dreams of becoming a musician. When those dreams faded, he turned them into ambition for his children. To Joseph, discipline was love, and success was survival. He ruled the Jackson household with strict authority, and for young Michael, that authority often felt like fear. Even as a toddler, Michael's voice stood out. Catherine, his mother, noticed it first. She heard a tenderness in his tone, a rhythm in his movements. To her, Michael was a gift from God, but Joseph saw something else. Potential. He began shaping his sons into a musical group, drilling them endlessly after school. For Michael, childhood games quickly became rehearsals. Instead of toys, he held microphones. Instead of playgrounds, he learned dance steps on the wooden floor of their small living room. When Michael was only 5 years old, he officially joined his brothers to form the Jackson 5. He was the youngest, the smallest, but also the brightest spark. His voice carried a soulful depth that astonished anyone who heard it. Yet, behind that voice was a boy still struggling to understand the world around him. Rehearsals were grueling. Joseph demanded perfection. Mistakes were not tolerated. Sometimes the young boys would rehearse until late at night, their tiny feet aching, their eyes heavy with sleep. Michael, still just a child, often cried quietly when no one was watching. The world saw a star in the making, but Michael often felt like a prisoner of his father's dream. In school, he was different. Fame was beginning to follow him, but it came at a cost. While other children played during recess, Michael's mind was filled with melodies and choreography. He longed for normal friendships, for afternoons spent running in the streets, but instead, he was driven to stages and studios. He later admitted that he would look out of windows, watching children laugh and play, and feel an ache inside. He wanted that life, but it was never his. Despite the pressures, Michael loved music. It was his escape, his way of transforming pain into beauty. He filled secret notebooks with sketches, lyrics, and dreams. He would write about fantasy worlds where he could be free, worlds where his voice wasn't just an instrument, but a reflection of his true self. One of the earliest performances that defined him was at a local talent show. The stage was small, the lights dim, but when Michael sang, the audience froze. His voice, filled with raw emotion, silenced the room. In that moment, something magical happened. The shy little boy disappeared, and in his place stood a star. Applause thundered, and Michael felt a warmth he rarely felt at home. Love, acceptance, and admiration. But even then, the paradox of his childhood was clear. On stage, he was adored. Off stage, he was lonely. Behind the bright smile he wore for cameras, there were tears no one ever saw. He wanted to be like other children, but he was never allowed to be. He once said, "I don't remember being a child. I was always performing." The Jackson 5 soon skyrocketed to fame. The world celebrated the young prodigy with the angelic voice and electric moves. Yet with every cheer from the crowd, Michael drifted further from the simple joys of childhood. His life became hotels, buses, studios, and endless performances. The playgrounds of Gary, Indiana were replaced with sold-out arenas. Michael's childhood was not stolen in a single moment. It was taken piece by piece, show by show, applause by applause. He became a man before he had the chance to be a boy. And while this path made him a legend, it also left him searching for the rest of his life, for the innocence he had lost. Michael Jackson's childhood was short, but his gift was eternal. Out of pain, he created beauty. Out of loneliness, he gave joy to millions. Behind every moonwalk, every lyric, and every stage performance, there was a boy who only ever wanted to be free.